The fascia who covers obturator internus muscle, it modifies, it shows a band, it shows a ring, it shows a thickening, and this thickening, this band, we call it tendinous arch of levator ani. What is that? It is the thickening within the fascia of the covering fascia of the obturator internus. Is that clear? Going further, now I have split it. I remove the coccygeus and I have splitted this muscle, obturator internus. I have cut it apart. To do what? Let's level it again. Yeah, to show you. I agree. It's covered by this fascia. And there was my thickening, tendinous arc of levator ani. Where is levator ani?
The whole thing.
So levator ani is something which comes from one side and other side,
Yes.
and they merge, they blend in the midline, and it makes my
Floor.
pelvic diaphragm. I have another diaphragm, oral diaphragm, which you'll be learning shortly in hair neck. Mylohyoid muscle. One coming from this half of the mandible, other coming from this half of the mandible. They meet in the midline and they make oral diaphragm. We had one diaphragm within the cranial cavity, one diaphragm here, one diaphragm abdominothorax, one diaphragm in the pelvis, one diaphragm even below. So we had so many diaphragms in our body. Is that clear? Yes.
Sir, how will the child come out?
How will the child come out? Yes, I love your question and I love to answer you. Sabr, I'll explain it. What do you think? What is the basis of your question? First, I want to know your intention, then probably I'll be able to explain it better. Yes?
Because you said it's at the pelvic diaphragm, so it's in the way of child coming out. And it's
Oh,
covering
good.
the whole thing.
Good, I got your point. My dear, can you see there are certain holes here?
Okay.
There are certain openings here. These openings are transmitting certain tubes here. And through these tubes, the tube which is known as vagina will be transmitting the child. And this tube is going through this pelvic diaphragm, through this levator ani muscle. Yes, say.
How the muscles will expand or will stretch?
Obviously, once there is a force, and this will not stretch so much, it will give way. It will give way to the free passage. And you know, once you will be learning about the physiology of the childbirth, I'm sure you will be having lecture on all that. The parturition, there we have certain hormones, and then with their release, there is relaxation. We had smooth muscle as well. So there is a relaxation, and that will facilitate the head of the baby and the body of the baby to descend. And then the skull bones of the baby, the sutures have not blended, they have not fused, they overlap. This process of the overlapping of the sutures of the head of the baby is called as molding. So they override each other. The skull bones, they override each other, make it smaller. The brain is not fully grown up at that time. So it facilitates to allow the head of the baby to pass through the birth canal, then pass through the vagina, which appears a very narrow tube, but eventually it's not. It can expand at the time of demand. And then I was discussing with you, there is a pad of fat around, there is a space around where this expanding tube has a space to expand. I hope I'm able to answer your question.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you. So this is my levator ani muscle. Where is your coffee? Go and bring. You want money? I'll do it. So levator ani muscle, we call it pelvic diaphragm. Now I'm bringing coccygeus. So can you see a pattern?
Yes.
Piriformis, coccygeus and levator ani. They work together to make the pelvic diaphragm. It's not only one muscle. Now I have fascia who covers all this. We call, is it superior to the
Yes.
pelvic diaphragm?
Yes.
Can I call it superior pelvic diaphragm? Superior fascia of pelvic diaphragm? And if I put a fascia underneath, what should I call?
Inferior.
Good. So I have superior fascia and inferior fascia of pelvic diaphragm. Is that right? There is no new term has been introduced here. Who's this dude?
Psoas.
Psoas major, very good. So psoas, you know it is coming from the bodies and the transverse processes and the disc of the lumbar vertebrae.
To the greater
And it's
trochanter.
going down. On its journey, it joins a friend from here, from the ala of the, from the iliac fossa. And that muscle is iliacus. So iliacus joins with this psoas. And together they are known as iliopsoas muscles. So they are also a little bit seen within the cavity of the pelvis. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now, levator ani muscle, we know it. Now, this is the answering your question. Rectum is passing through. This is a male example. So I'm not showing a female one. And this is the urethra. Now, guys, remember, this levator ani muscle has different parts of it, has different components of it, and they are named according to their attachments. And this muscle fiber itself is modified around these tubes to act like sphincters, to control these tubes, to facilitate, like you want to, your rectum is full of feces, but socially you are not in a situation where you can find a restroom. So its sphincters are tight. It's not happening, you have feces in your rectum and it passes out no matter where you are. You have urine in your bladder and it passes out wherever you are. But you look for a place where you can do the needful. If it's not there, you have the capability that you can control your sphincters. Is that right? They always say control your sphincter. So these are sphincters. From where they have come? They are just modified muscle fibers embedded within the same muscles. So this is the rectum, and then this the one which surrounds the rectum, we call it external anal sphincter, and the one who surrounds the urethra, we call it external urethral sphincter. Am I right here?
Yes. Are these parts of the levator ani or are they their own muscle?
No, they are part of it. Now going further, we are looking from top, a superior view of a pelvis, a male pelvis. We know it. I don't want to go in these details. So far we are good at this part. Now, floor. We know this muscle? Do we know this muscle?
Yes.
Obturator
Obturator.
internus. Very good. Who is this? Tendinous arch, which was the thickening in the fascia of the obturator internus. Now, I have obturator internus, but it has, I told you, it has certain components. The part of the obturator internus, which is coming from the pubis, going to the coccygeus, we call it pubococcygeus part of the levator ani. Pubococcygeus muscle, which is the part of the levator ani. Then this pubococcygeus, we can see that it surrounds also the rectum.
Yeah.
So we call that part, we can give it a different color. So the part of the pubococcygeus which surrounds this rectum, we call it puborectalis, because it's emerging from the pubis and is surrounding the rectum and is going back. So this pubococcygeus, puborectalis, they are part of what?
Levator ani.
ani. Story is not complete. I have something more. Someone is coming again. Who's this? Iliococcygeus part. From the pubis, from the ilium. So this is the ilium. So these muscles, these muscle fibers, they blend together and they make our levator ani. Is that clear? Any question?
Yes. The pelvic diaphragm is only the levator ani or also the piriformis?
Levator ani, piriformis and coccygeus. Together, collectively, they are called as pelvic diaphragm. Clear? So now you can see that where is urethra, where is rectum. Now there is answering your question. You can see the piriformis and you can see the coccygeus. So it's like a carpet. Sajada. So the things are woven together. So things are coming together. I think you need to go for a 10 minutes break and then come back.